Breaking at noon, an arsonist facing 16 years in prison after burning down a 100-year-old building in southwest Portland. The building owner still coping with financial loss, plus disturbing details in a lawsuit against Oregon Youth Authority. Plaintiffs alleging years of sexual abuse of children in custody. And thousands of runners will pass through downtown Portland on Sunday. How to avoid getting stuck on the road and enjoy your St. Patrick's Day weekend. And later, a scenic biking trail leading up to a unique chapter of Oregon's history. Your news at noon starts right now. Thanks for joining us. I'm China Green. We have a breaking update to the man convicted of burning down an apartment building in southwest Portland 2 years ago. Garrett Rep will now face 16 years in prison. Rep was a tenant at the 113-year-old May Apartments when he started the fire in his unit. After the fire sparked, smoke poured across the Portland skyline, as you see there. Some residents of the 5-story building had to use ladders to evacuate, and a firefighter was injured. The building's owner spoke at the sentencing hearing today.
On that day of the fire, watching our beautiful historic 1910 building burn and collapse to the ground with over 750,000 gallons of water has left an emotional, gut-wrenching memory that has created an indelible void in our lives. Our family is still trying to recover from the financial loss to the tune of millions of dollars, not to mention the ongoing stress and battle with the insurance company in attempt to recover from our losses.
Eventually, the apartment building was demolished. Rep was convicted on 55 counts in October, including arson and reckless endangerment. Meantime, Portland Fire responded to a fire at Portland Community College Sylvania's campus around 7:30 this morning. Officials say that the fire were confined to a built-out seating area and did not extend to the structure. No one was injured, with the school being lightly populated at that time of the day. All right, before we get to Rod Hill, taking a live look at Timberline Lodge. It is snowing. We've been talking about it all morning long, yesterday as well. Getting snow up there this weekend. Rod Hill is tracking that today, this afternoon, as well as what we're going to see here locally.
It's only about 20 degrees up there, by the way. It's a cold day. There hasn't been much snow yet. It was mainly dry up there this morning, but the winter storm warning now in effect for the Cascades, including Mount Hood. You can see it illuminated on the map here behind me. All the way through 11 p.m. on Sunday for the Mount Hood area specifically. And by the way, if you are traveling down into the south coast, once you get south of Florence down into Coos Bay, North Bend, and Bandon, there's actually a high wind watch up starting tomorrow afternoon for what could be some 60, 70 mile per hour wind gusts down there, especially Saturday overnight into Sunday morning. Okay, here is a look at what is going on with our snow map, and it is hefty for the weekend. This basically shows 2 feet of snow coming between now and Sunday evening at 8 p.m. What's really impressive on the map, not so much Mount Hood, but when you drop southward, how the amounts just escalate. Bachelor could possibly pick up 53 inches of snow. We have the impact alert up for travel for the weekend. Of course, passes will be snow covered. They are right now. So extra time, slow travel, change traction tires. Supplies meaning think ahead. If something would happen traffic-wise and you would get stuck up there, you'd want some blankets, some water, and that type of thing. We are seeing snow in the mountains right now. We're seeing mostly light rain in Portland, and we'll have the valley forecast, including the Shamrock Run Sunday morning hour-by-hour forecast coming up.
Thank you, Rod. Developing story, Oregon's governor has fired the director of the embattled Oregon Youth Authority. This comes as lawyers for 10 formerly incarcerated young people filed a new lawsuit against the authority, accusing a doctor and multiple staff members of years of sex abuse. And a warning, the details here are disturbing. Devin Haskins has the update.
A new $51 million lawsuit outlines horrifying allegations of repeated sexual abuse by a doctor and several staff at the McLaren Youth Correctional Facility in Woodburn from 2000 to 2008.
With any victim of sexual abuse, there's a concern that no one's going to believe them. And here you have people who are incarcerated. And so now they think, why would they believe me when I was incarcerated?
The abuse was so widely known among teens and staff, Lawyers say their clients knew Dr. Edward Edwards as Dr. Coldfingers.
Instead of treatment, they would be sexually abused.
Edwards, who has since passed away, is accused of groping the teenage boys with ungloved hands.
You don't get a horrific nickname like Dr. Coldfingers unless it's pretty pervasive in terms of everyone knowing about it.
Edwards served as one of the main doctors at McLaren from 1977 to about 2008. And in one instance, Edwards subjected a teen to sexual abuse 20 times during a 3-year period. The lawsuit also says that McLaren staff repeatedly ignored multiple reports made by the victims and even used the abuse as a form of punishment.
When one of our clients' behavior wasn't to the staff liking, they would threaten them that, hey, if you don't get in line, we're going to send you to see Dr. Coldfingers.
The Oregon Youth Authority, which oversees the McLaren Youth Facility, has been under intense scrutiny lately. A similar civil lawsuit was filed in September on behalf of 6 victims alleging sexual abuse. And we've just learned that on Wednesday, the governor fired the agency's director, Joe O'Leary. He had previously been put on leave following an investigation into a backlog of complaints.
From what we're hearing, OIA needs to embrace a culture that cares about abuse and responds to abuse.
The lawyers say nearly 200 other former youth detainees have reached out to their office, many alleging similar abuse.
That was Devin Haskins reporting. Dr. Edward Edwards passed away just a few weeks ago and has never been charged with the crime in Oregon. We also reached out to the Oregon Youth Authority, which declined to comment on pending litigation. All right, here's a look at some national headlines this afternoon. An American Airlines flight caught fire landing at a Denver International Airport last night, forcing passengers on board to evacuate through the aircraft's wing. 12 people were taken to the hospital. 172 passengers and 6 crew members were on board at the time. The flight was heading from Colorado Springs to Dallas-Fort Worth, but 20 minutes after taking off, it diverted to Denver after the crew reported, quote, engine vibrations. While taxiing to the gate, an engine on the Boeing plane caught fire. The FAA said it's still investigating the cause. Former central banker Mark Carney was sworn in as Canada's new prime minister today and will now try to steer his country through a trade war with the United States. Carney replaces Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who announced his resignation in January. Carney has said that he is ready to meet with President Donald Trump if he is willing to take a common approach for trade. And more than 50 universities are being investigated for alleged racial discrimination as part of President Donald Trump's campaign to end diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. This comes 1 month after the Education Department issued a memo warning American colleges that they would lose federal money over race-based preferences in admissions and scholarships. And that's a look at your national headlines.